Hi everyone, welcome to Tuesday, where of course we take a look at the performance of the NZSX50 for the last week. Now, before I jump across and share my screen, just remember that this is for educational purposes only. No way is it intended to be personalised financial advice. For that, you do need to go and have a chat to your own financial advisor. But hey, if there are any shares or even commodities that you'd like me to take a look at, drop them in the comments. I'm happy to do that for you and just run my evaluation over it. Right, let's take a look. Here is the main board for the New Zealand Stock Exchange on the screen. And as you can see here, we did have a good week last week, which was great. There was a reasonable amount of volume and a lot more buying interest than anything. The market is open because I'm recording this on Monday afternoon, and so far obviously we are down just a little bit, but we're only talking about $37, $38 or 0.3% so far for the week, so nothing to get too concerned about. Obviously, we are still a wee way off from where we want to get to our highs. Then that would indicate that our market is in a bit of a bull run. Really interesting though, the US market and the Australian markets are having phenomenal bull runs at the moment. But I did read last week in our local newspaper that basically in the last 10 years, there's really only been about 15 new IPOs or initial public offerings, of which case a couple of them sort of didn't even really get off the ground, which does happen with initial public offerings. So we've got such a small market here, and that is perhaps contributing to the fact that we're not getting a lot of traction, because what we're also seeing is there has been a number of takeovers with New Zealand companies, and they're obviously being delisted. So if they are on the main board, then they are being replaced by a lesser share as well. So that's something to just have a think about. We also see a lot of our companies dual listed on both the New Zealand and the Australian Stock Exchange, and I've done a few shares on there for people as well, just looking at the performance of both. That too has an impact, because there have been companies that have decided they're getting a better return by having their company listed on the Australian Stock Exchange than just the New Zealand one. So again, these are little things that we do need to take into consideration. Let's put our indicators on. So we'll pop on the moving averages and we'll just change that to 30. And I keep living in hope that we'll be able to get the simple moving average up, but not yet. And we'll make that one a 15. Right, now because I've had to go to a simple moving average as opposed to an exponential, it means that it's just averaging out the closing values of the shares for each week for the last 5 years, rather than putting more emphasis on the latter end of the market, which is normally what an exponential will do. But you can see here we're still a wee way away from crossing through that 30-week moving average. And for me, for that very reason, I certainly haven't been looking for any new buying opportunities in the market. Obviously, like I said before, we are a wee way off from our highs. The high basically was in about August 2021, where the market reached a peak of around 13,200. So we're about $500 away from that. And it would be great to see, obviously, our market get back into that sort of territory, because what really sort of happens is trends always follow what tends to be happening. So if we're in an uptrend, and a good example here was back when we had COVID, we had that sharp sell-off, then we saw a really strong rally. And that's what happens. Like prior to COVID happening, our market had a high of just over 12,000 points. We fell to a low of about just over 9,000, and then it rallied really strongly up to, like I just said, just over that 13,000 mark. So about $500 off from where we are now. So that's what trends usually do. If new highs generally will create more new highs. It's not obviously set in stone, and at some point the market will peak, but that is something that we would want to see. We want to see a few more good, strong weeks really happening in our share market. We want to see it break through that 13,500 value, and then hopefully we're going to be in a little bit of an uptrend and actually follow what is happening globally. Obviously, the downside, we are seeing that follow globally, but not locally. So not too much to really report here for the New Zealand market. It's languishing. It's trying its best, but it's just not going anywhere at this stage. So anyway, I'll stop sharing. So I hope that's helped. Do come back on Thursday. We are going to look at MicroStrategies. That has been an inquiry, obviously, since I did the crypto shares last week on Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy is also a cryptocurrency, and it also uses AI in their strategy as well. But remember, if there is a share or anything that you'd like me to review, by all means, pop it in the comments, or even if there's anything you'd like to learn on the share markets, again, let me know. I want to help you make your journey a successful one. Take care.